Hi guys, Matty B here. Thanks for tuning in. As I mentioned in my previous video, these next few videos I'm going to be focusing on the big change I'm making to my diet to improve my health, following on from my test results from Zoe, and that is making my own fermented foods at home. So you may be wondering, what are fermented foods? You may be eating fermented foods already without realising it. So for example, cheese, and this is made from fermented milk, as is yoghurt, Greek style yoghurt in particular, which contains between 1 and 3 live bacteria, which are good for your gut. Wine, this comes from fermenting grapes. Obviously it's alcoholic, so enjoy responsibly. And then pickles, like your gherkins and onions, which are fermented in vinegar, which makes them pickled. So there's lots of things that you're probably already having on a monthly, weekly, or even daily basis. And then there's other foods then, which I'm making at home now, which you may have heard of. Kimchi, which is fermented cabbage with various different fruits and vegetables. You can mix it up and fermented in a marinade. Kefir, which is fermented milk, so very similar to Greek style yogurt, but whereas the Greek style yogurt has between 1 and 3 live bacteria in it, kefir has between 10 and 30, so it's a lot healthier for you. Kombucha, which is fermented tea. Sriracha sauce, this is like a Tabasco sauce or chili sauce. Kefir soda, this is a byproduct of when kefir is over fermented. If you let it ferment for too long, it separates into curds and whey. I'll show you in a video how I make this soda and how I make this kefir cheese from the curds and the whey when the milk is over fermented. So hopefully got you interested in fermented foods. Highly recommend you add them to your diet because there's many benefits to them. First one, the preservation of the food. Before fridges and freezers were invented, fermentation was how our ancestors preserved the fruits and vegetables that they grew in their fields, so they had a steady supply of food throughout the winter through to next spring. They add a extra taste and flavour to the foods. So like when you're having your pickled gherkins and pickled onions, they got a bit of sourness and tartness to them, haven't they? That's the same with fermentation, which I love. I love the sour taste to them. It really gets my taste buds going. Third and most important reason then is the health benefits. Since I've started having these fermented foods, I've noticed my mood and my energy levels have improved. There's probiotic cultures to all these fermented foods, because during the fermentation process, the starter cultures, collectively these are called scobies, which stands for symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, like the one floating in this kombucha here, which you should be able to see there floating up the top. The yeast and bacteria in these cultures feed on the sugar in the foods, for example the lactose in the milk, and when they do this, they create live bacteria, live cultures and live microbes in the food, which stay in the food. And when you ingest these cultures and microbes, they add extra microbes to your gut, increase the diversity in your gut, so it builds up your immune system, adds extra vitamins and minerals to your the gut and helps to alleviate some digestive issues like bloating, diarrhea and IBS. And there's even some studies coming out showing that it can have an effect on your well-being. It can reduce symptoms of anxiety, for example. And whilst studies are still going on, it's not, they still need to work on the evidence for the well-being part, but it's, I can tell you from personal experience, I think they're onto something here, because growing up, I used to have social anxiety, and last year I had to take time off from work for depression and general anxiety. Now, whilst I've had to have therapy and do meditation and make sure I do things that I enjoy to look after my well-being, having the full fermented foods has helped with my well-being as well. I don't think it's a coincidence that my mood, energy levels and my happiness levels have increased in the 6 months since I've started having these fermented foods. So I highly recommend that you start having these fermented foods like the kimchi, kefir and kombucha, and fermented vegetables as well. In this jar I've got salad vegetables like red peppers, red onions, spring onions, cucumber, radish and garlic, all fermenting away there in a saltwater brine. Anything like that I recommend you add to your diet if you can. It's recommended you have 5 portions of fermented foods a day. Don't start at that level because there can be side effects like diarrhea and bloating if you start too quickly. So start, like I did, start off with 1, maybe 2 servings per day and build up gradually towards 5 servings. But definitely have these fermented foods if you can. Highly recommended. There's a general overview then and introduction to fermented foods. And in future videos I'll talk you through and show you how I'm making all these foods, touching on each one individually. Hopefully I can inspire you to make your own and improve your health like I have. If you've enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already, so you know when I upload a new video, and I'll catch you next time.